coach at Thomas Starr King Middle School, and I'm going to guide you through the process of setting up Zoom so that you can actually host a meeting, and whether that is maybe you're meeting with your colleagues or with students, and even with their parents. Obviously, we are in extremely extraordinary times with the coronavirus closures of schools all throughout Los Angeles Unified. And this video is just going to guide you through the process of setting up Zoom so that you can actually do some teleconferencing and making sure that you're able to work with through this process. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you what it looks like for setting up. Now, what's amazing is Zoom is actually offering the opportunity for educators who are affected by the COVID 19 virus to have a plan that allows them to do teleconferencing with up to 100 people, and that will also allow them to not have any limit on the account. So right here you see where it says Zoom is removing the 40-minute time limit on our basic free account for schools affected by the coronavirus. Click here to request this offer. So what you're going to do, you're going to go to zoom.us/education, so right up here, and then you're going to click on the click here to request the offer. Now, I'm not going to go through the K-12 school verification form, but I'm going to show you what it looks like so you're able to take care of that. Now, what you're going to need to do is the very first thing is you're going to need to start by setting up your own account. There's multiple ways that you can set up that account, and then after you have your account set up, you're then going to go back into this form and fill out some information in order to get your school set up. So what you're going to want to do is either one of two things. You can either put in your work email address and then click sign up, and then you'll enter your information, or you could sign up through Google or Facebook. I would suggest that because you're probably going to want this to be your work account, that you use the sign up with Google. And when you do that, it'll give you the options for what accounts you use. And once you do that, it'll allow you to create the account. Now, from there, you then go into the Zoom platform that allows you to know what you're going to be doing. Now, down at the bottom here, do you see where it says Microsoft Outlook plugin or Chrome extension? You'll want to either add Zoom to your Microsoft Outlook or to your Chrome, Firefox, Safari extension, whatever you need to do. So I'm just going to download this, and you're going to notice that you're going to be taken to the Chrome Web Store in this case, but it would be any other. You would add the extension, and then in the upper right hand corner, once the extension has been added, it'll appear right here. You're going to want to allow it to sync with the rest of your settings, so that just because it is a Google function, allows it to work a little bit easier. Okay, then we can close that. Now, I'm going to take you through the process of how you actually schedule a meeting, because this is going to be the really important part of going through this process. And so I'm actually going to go out of this one and into my LAUSD account. I had that set up as a dummy account so that you guys could see what we're doing there. Okay, so you can see here I already have meetings that are scheduled each day between 8:30 and 11:30. I'm going to be teleconferencing with the staff of Thomas Starr King Middle School in order to make sure if they need any help with anything related to the tech that we're using with our students. Okay, so I'm going to show you how you would actually schedule a meeting. So when you are signed in, this is the page that you'll come to. You'll notice over here under the personal, you have your profile. That's going to tell you obviously your name, your Zoom personal meeting ID, your email address that you're set up on, and then also the user type. So right now, just using a user type, notice that the meeting capacity is 100. We're using English. Time zone is Pacific Standard Time. And then the date format, I didn't set up any of those as a default. And then when we go into the meetings, because this is going to be where we're going to actually create the magic, we're going to start by scheduling a meeting. So now you can just go right into a meeting by clicking on host a meeting, and it'll give you multiple options of screen share only, share with video on, or share with video off. But we're going to actually just schedule a meeting. So we'll do that now. And we are going to call this Zoom setup. All right. And then we would put in some sort of description. This is optional, so you don't have to do that. Select a template. Once you've already created, it'll actually allow you to set up templates. I'm not going to do that now, but I usually do that because I set up my meetings exactly the same way. I might change the date and time, but I use the same template every single time. All right, so the when. I'm going to go ahead and schedule this for tonight, and I'll just schedule it for 10 p.m. I'll schedule it for 1 hour. And at that point, you'll notice here that the Zoom Basic Plan has a 40-minute time limit. But again, don't forget, because I have already set up that my school is part of the COVID-19 virus school closure group, that I am going to not have to worry about that. So if you look down here, back on that K-12 school verification form, right here where it says school information, you would enter everything about your school email address, your school name, your first name, your last name, the school size, your school website, the phone number for your school, and then the country, and then submit. And then within 24 hours, Zoom actually sets up your school to be able to have these conferences that go over that 40-minute limit. All right, I'm going to shrink that down and come back into this page. All right, so right here, I'm going to set this up as a reoccurring meeting. Now, I could just have it as my personal ID. If I do this, this will be the number that people call into every single time. But I'm just going to go ahead and let it generate automatically for now. I usually don't require a meeting password. And the reason I do that is, especially when I'm working with students, I want to make sure that this is going to be easy for them to get into. Now, with the video side of things, I am going to want to be the host and have video, and I'm going to want participants to have video as well. And I'm going to want their audio to come either via telephone, computer audio, or both. I'm always going to select both because you might have some students or families or coworkers who aren't able to actually get onto the video, so they might just call in. All right, now the meeting options. I always have multiple choices here. Enable to join before host. I never click that. I don't want people in a meeting room before I'm there if I'm the host. Muting participants upon entry. I always have that checked. That allows for as the participants are coming into the meeting, it mutes them immediately. Enable a waiting room. I usually don't do that. And then right here, record the meeting automatically on local computer. I always do that. Now, that function will allow for the meeting that you do to end up being recorded, and then it'll be saved afterwards. All right, so we're going to go ahead and save that, and the meeting is ready to go. All right, so again, now if I click on my meetings, you'll notice I have a meeting that is scheduled. Here's the meeting ID, but I now need to actually communicate this to people. So I'm going to go back into this right here, and you'll notice here there's a URL. Now, I could just copy and paste that URL and send it off to the meeting participants. I might do that if I'm sending it to students or parents. I might do that through Schoology, also through Schoology with some of my colleagues if we're in the same group, or but more than likely I might email people as well. Now I'm going to copy the invitation. It's going to open up this separate window. It's going to give me some information. I'm going to click copy meeting invitation, and that's going to copy it to clipboard. Now I'm going to go through, do this a little bit different. Now from there, I might go into my email and create a message and go ahead and set that up. Now, when this is now a live link, if someone clicks on this link, it'll take them right into my meeting directly. They could also dial this number on mobile, and it will allow them to call into the meeting but not necessarily be video conferencing in. And then here's the unique meeting ID. Okay, so I would send that off. All right, distance learning. This is a course that I have in Schoology, and it might be a situation where under updates, I am going to set up the meeting, and then I'll post that. And then anybody who's in my course would actually see that, and they'd have the ability to then get that information. All right, I'm going to go ahead and delete this though, because I don't want the people who are in my course to think that I'm trying to get them in on a meeting right now. Okay, so getting back to the meeting itself, I can now start the meeting. So I'm going to click Start this meeting, and you'll notice here that it wants to open the application. Earlier, I had downloaded this to my Chrome browser, so it's going to open up a separate window that's going to allow the meeting to begin. And you're going to see me momentarily as the connection begins, and we'll get going on this. Now, as participants come into the meeting, that's a little bit different side, and I'll show you how to do that in a second video. So this is taking a little bit longer than I intended, but now you see that the session ID is coming in. I can join with computer audio, and now you actually see me. I have some functions down here at the bottom of the page, and then I'm going to go full screen here. Also, you'll notice that I can mute myself. You can hear me because I'm actually screencasting this, but if this was actually on a real Zoom, you would not be able to hear that. I can actually stop the video as well, and my picture icon would show up instead. There's also the ability while you're in the meeting, let's say you forgot to invite someone, you could send a quick invite, copy that URL or that invitation, and then also you have the ability to manage participants. I'm going to have a second video that's posted that will talk about all the features and demonstrate that with some participants. All right. There's also a chat function that would appear. Normally what that does is it appears on the right, and that will allow you to be able to share things with participants. Now there's also a share screen, and this is one of the great features of Zoom. You'll get multiple things. So you get either the desktop, the whiteboard. You can also use an iPhone or iPad via AirPlay or via a lightning cable. And then also with Google Chrome, you can also go to any windows that you have open. So for example, I'm going to show you really quick. This is going to be my Finder, but you'll notice that I actually have Zoom calls that are saved here. This is the function. So I can actually, when I'm done with this call, it'll actually save the call and put that into a folder within my computer. And then I could always share that to Schoology after the fact, and that would allow for folks to be able to actually view the video and the cast afterwards. I can also pause or stop the recording. Nice little feature, you know, maybe if there's if you're doing that recording that's going to be taken care of later, you've started the meeting but nobody's really entered yet, or you have a pause, you can actually go ahead and hit that pause and that'll stop things. There's also a reactions button, and again, I go over a lot of this in the second one, but you'll notice there the hand clap and then also a thumb up. So that's it for now. You also would have the ability to end the meeting. So that's how you set up the meeting. That's how you get it going. And then in the second video, I'll show you how participants come in. All right. Well, and if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. My email address is William Page, WILLIAM .PAGE at lausd.net. Again, that's william.page at lausd.net. And I'd be happy to help you out if you have any questions. All right. Maybe we can even Zoom to get that taken care of. All right. Again, any questions, william.page at lausd.net. And really quick, you'll notice here's the converting meeting recording. So everything that I recorded on the video itself is actually going to process. And I'm going to stop the screencast now.